And joining me in the studio is Robert Amsterdam, a consul to the Turkish government and also from Amsterdam and Partners LLP. Now, you have been specifically focusing on charter schools, Gulen-run charter schools, not only in the US, but also globally. Tell us about your findings and your research as far as this network is concerned.
Well, we're about to publish a 700-page book that detail the findings, but quite frankly, never in almost 40 years of doing investigations have I run across an organization like the Gulen organization. To say that this is an empire of deceit or deception is an understatement. Probably the largest H-1B visa scam in history, probably the largest charter school scam in history, frightening what they're doing to American children, frightening the level of attempts by the Gulen organization to actually not only inculcate certain children, but actually bring them into the cult. The level of scams going on around these schools is really hard to describe, which is why essentially it took us 2 years and 20 people going through the public record in 29 states to put it together. And when we did, we really found that the Gulen organization isn't interested in educating American children. They're interested in taking money from the poorest of American children and diverting it into the cult.
When did you get involved in investigating and compiling all this evidence? Because on the other side, contrarians say that the Gulen network is still providing good education. It's essential. It's one of the largest networks or charter school networks in the United States. So what raised the red flags for you, and how did you get involved in this?
Well, firstly, let's be clear. On the objective evidence of ratings in the United States, very few people would say that. For instance, almost all the Gulen schools in Ohio are D and F. Many of them in Florida and Texas and other states, the same thing. The involvement came as a result of the Turkish government retaining us many months before the coup to look into the Gulen organization. And quite frankly, at that point, I was shocked that this man existed, that he had this level of involvement in the schools, because the schools make it a practice of never disclosing their Gulen schools. The schools, the teachers, everyone involved makes it very clear that they don't want to admit they're affiliated. So on the face of it, until this book comes out, there are very few documents that piece together their activities. We've identified not only the schools, but the real estate fronts, the middlemen, how they extract so many millions from the system.
Tell us about that specifically, like a case study in a state. Expand on that for us.
Let's take Ohio, where we filed a complaint with the Ohio state authorities, where what they do is they take a school, let's say for $10, we'll make it simple. They sell it to a Gulen-related entity for $11 or $12. Then that Gulen-related entity will take market rent and jack it up by 2 or 3 or 4 times. And we've documented it in our complaint to the Ohio authorities. Then what they'll do is they'll float a bond. And on the basis of that bond, they might sell that school to some further Gulen middlemen for much more money than they paid. Then they renegotiate the lease and they make it a triple net lease, and they make sure the public entity never has a right to the property, no matter how many millions of dollars are paid.
It looks like exhaustive work. Thank you for joining us, Robert Amsterdam.
Thank you.